Good afternoon, SJSH and prospective SJSH families. Today I'm going to do the second of the FAQ videos for my frequently asked questions when a family is inquiring about the school, or even new families who are brand new to us who are just looking for more information as to how we do things. So this is video number 2. The first video I covered topics such as our daily schedule, the curriculum followed, aftercare and before care, our yearly calendar and semester system, how we tackle homework and extra help, our school events, clubs, activities, our class sizes. So if you're looking for information regarding those topics, please go to the first FAQ video. The first video also is a little bit more elementary school oriented, although there are some high school things that are in that video. This video, the second video, is going to be a little bit more high school oriented. So I'll be talking about the high school credits, career planning for high schools, where my graduates go, community service hours, literacy test, but then ending up with things, questions about our wait list, how do we get on it, and lastly, our tuition and how we do our pricing for our schooling. So to start, a student needs 30 credits to graduate from high school. So we are a JK to grade 12 school, so we do offer all of the credit offerings that a student would need. Sometimes parents wonder, because we're a smaller school, do we have less course offerings? The reality is that we actually have more course offerings because we have a wider variety of what we're able to do. The way that I do the course calendar and the course schedule is we meet with the grade 11s in their grade 11 year before they go into grade 12. And we do, actually all throughout the grade 10 and grade 11 years, we're doing a lot of deep diving into what is their career selection, what do you think they're going to be doing after high school, what's their next step. So going into their grade 12 year, we know exactly what school they're looking at going into, what program they're going to be needing, so we know exactly what credits they are going to want or need for their programs. So I build my semester, my schooling, off of what the grade 12s are requiring. Once I know what the grade 12s require, then I create the system of what the grade 11s require, then the grade 10s, and then the compulsory subjects for the grade 9s. So our course offerings are completely tailored to what the students are needing and wanting that particular school year. So for example, right now we seem to be in a very heavy healthcare cohort. There's a lot of students that are in school in our system right now that are really interested in getting into healthcare. So we have a lot of healthcare offerings. We offer TPJ 3M, which is just called healthcare. We offer TPJ 2O, which is a grade 10 healthcare. We offer both kinesiology credits for students. We offer the grade 11 and 12 biology, the chemistry, the physics. So a lot of our course offerings are catering towards what they are looking to get into. That being said, we still have course offerings like world history and law and anthropology and philosophy, music, drama. So our course offerings are, I find, much more like they're huge compared to some of the other schools. The way that a public school would do their course offerings is they look at their teaching staff and they say, okay, these are the teachers we have next year. These are the subjects that they're qualified to teach. And so therefore, we'll offer these classes. All right, grade 11s and 12s and grade 9s and 10s, pick from the courses that we are offering next school year. We do it the complete other way around. We look at our students and we say, what do you need? And then, okay, teachers, what are you able to teach out of this? If there is a course that for whatever reason a student really needs, and I don't have a current staff member that has that teachable, is capable of teaching it, I make it happen. So I find a way, either I hire someone in new for that course, or I use other resources, but I make sure that your child, if they require that resource or that course for their prerequisite for post-secondary school, they will get it no matter what. So that goes into kind of how I structure the semester for my high school students. We have 3 semesters here, not just 2. So we go from September until Christmas for their first semester. Then we have a 2-week break at Christmas time. And then we go from January to April. We have exam period mid-April, and then we have a week off. And then we have a May-June semester. So we don't actually have a March break. Our March break was moved school-wide, JK to grade 12, from middle of March to the end of April. And that's to ensure that the high school students have enough time in their courses to finish. It also means that a student in high school will finish a course and then have time off. So in the first semester, they go from September to Christmas. They write their exams roughly between December 15th to December 19th, and then the course is done and they have 2 weeks off. So they don't have to worry about anything. They've got nothing to do over the Christmas break except enjoy themselves, maybe get a part-time job and earn a little bit extra money. And then again, from January to April, once the April exams are done, and again, they hit between 15th and 19th of April, then we have a week off. And so school-wide, they just get that time to have vacation. Going into May and June, it's an interesting semester. So it's a two-month semester system. Grade 9s and 10s have no option. They have to take the May-June semester. They can get an additional credit or additional 2 credits, which means our students can get up to potentially 10 credits in a school year. 4 in the first semester, 4 in the second semester, and 2 in May and June. So they have a possibility of getting 10 credits in a school year. Public school systems, the max you can earn is an 8 credits in a school year. Well, this gives the students an advantage should they wish to fast track through high school. You need 30 credits in order to graduate with your OSSD. Well, in our system, a student could come in at grade 9, get 10 credits, 10 credits, 10 credits, and then be able to graduate after their grade 11 year. So it has that advantage. But it's also an advantage to students who might need some additional time. So every now and then we have students that require, say their English or their math course. Those are usually the most popular courses to do this. But their English or their math course might be the subjects, the core subjects that they might find the most challenging. So what we'll do is we will take that course and we'll stretch it over 2 semesters. So they will do that course from starting in September, going right until the end of April. So they'll have 8 months to absorb that information, to show their understanding, and to be able to do it instead of just 4 months, which for some students that can be difficult, especially with subjects like math or English. But even though I'm stretching out a course or 2 for some students, they're still on track to graduate because we have 3 semesters to play with. So in the 3rd semester, they pick up an extra credit, or in the next semester. So it allows for that flexibility for a student to fast track should they wish, or to take it at a slower pace if they need, and yet still graduate on time. So the semester system has been highly beneficial. We also find that it's beneficial for students because we're following the post-secondary semester schedule. So students in our high school, starting right at grade 9, are getting used to the 4-month semester system that they're going to see in their colleges or the universities. And so the pacing is already there, and they don't have any issues with moving into a post-secondary semester system. So I have a number of people asking about how a student graduates, specifically looking at the community hours and the literacy test. So literacy test is done after grade 10 English. That is a mandatory test that all Ontario high school students need to take and they need to pass. Now, a passing rate for the literacy test is actually 75% score. So the test is out of 400, and in order to, quote, pass the test, a student needs a score of 300 in order to pass the test. Over the last number of years, our student population has achieved anywhere between 95% to 100% pass rate. There has been the odd time where I've had a student get not pass it, but get very close. Usually it's because that student's second language is English, and so they're still working towards it. But the literacy test is one of the requirements of graduating from Ontario schools, as well as that 30 credits. And then in addition, the requirement is that they earn 40 hours of community service. So a student from grades 9 to grade 12 needs to bank 40 hours of community service in order to check that box for graduating. Now, because we're a JK to grade 12 school, there are so many opportunities within the school that students can earn that 40 hours. They can help out with aftercare, they can help out with before care, they can help out with recess duties, they can help with getting the students with their lunchtime. We actually have lunchroom helpers that go into the kindergarten rooms and they help out during lunchtime. So we have lots of opportunities built in through our school day that students can earn those community service hours. We also do lots of events throughout the school year that if students participate in those events, like community events, that qualifies for community service hours. So while we have some students that are more than happy to venture out into the community and set up their own community service hours and bank it that way, we offer lots of opportunities in-house for students that are a little more nervous or anxious about going into the community to get those done. So that can also be done through us. Another question that parents have specifically about our high school is, what's the graduation rate? Where do students go and how do they do? Because that's a big determining factor. So when a parent asks me, what's the graduation rate or what's the entrance rate of your students getting into post-secondary school? I always tell them to be cautious about asking that question to a private school, because in all honesty, I have complete control over what marks go into the OUAC system, so the Ontario University Academic or Application Center. I can put whatever number in. So you have to be careful of what the graduation entry rate is. For us, it's 100%. Whatever post-secondary school they want to get into, they get into. Whether it's a college program, an apprenticeship program, a university program, our students get into what their top school and what their top choice is. The real question that you should be asking is, of a private school, what is the graduation rate of students after they leave you? Because the real test of how strong we are as a school is not how well they're doing in our building, it's how well they do out there. So how successful are the students when they leave us? And I can very happily say that our students are highly successful once they finish with our high school program and go into the university program or whatever program of choice that they choose. I do regular feedback with their graduates. I gather qualitative and quantitative research on where they're going, how they're doing, what they're doing. I have casual conversations with them about how the semesters have been going. And so I track them throughout their years of their schooling and their post-secondary. And I'm very happy to say that our graduation rate of post-secondary school, so our students who've graduated with us, who've entered into their post-secondary school of choice, that graduation rate is about 90%, which means 90% of the students that graduate from us graduate from their post-secondary school of choice. And so it's, what it means is that we are really setting them up for being successful in whatever pathway they're choosing when they go on. So now, what are the schools that that my kids go to? Because that's another question that parents ask. My students go everywhere and anywhere. Most of my students, I would say, stay in Ontario. They choose to go to potentially one of the local schools. So Waterloo and Laurier, Guelph, Western, and McMaster. I think those are kind of my most popular schools that students go to. They have the luxury of going to a post-secondary school, but sometimes even staying at home. It helps with costs and keeping that down. Outside of that, I've had students go to Queen's for Bachelor of Education concurrent. I've had students go to McGill. I've had students go to UBC for a variety of things: medical school, medical programs, healthcare, engineering. I've had students go to University of Alberta, Memorial University of Newfoundland, and then I've had students go to the States. So I've had a few students over the years that have chosen to write their SATs, and then they head to different colleges in the United States. I had one student in 2020, I believe, after he graduated, he went down to Crowder University on a baseball scholarship. I've had students go overseas. So just this past year, I've had one of our most amazing graduates head to a medical school in Romania. I have had students go to University of Cambridge. I've had students go to Manchester. So it is quite a wide world where our students end up going. I still think the most popular and the highest percentage of students stay within our local area, but they end up going everywhere and anywhere. And it's the same true with what programs they choose. So there seems to be a trend this last little while of healthcare, but I've seen business. I've had students go into commerce. I've had students go into accounting and financial management. I've had students get into graphic design. I've had students go to computer science, many types of engineering, and as well histories and philosophies. And so it is such a wide variety of where my students go, and whatever the interest is of the child, that's what we tailor their final years of our high school program to make sure they have all of those qualifications. So yeah, it's a wide world. We're a small school, but we go far and wide with our students. So another question is that career planning for high school students. How does that look, or how do they even know where they're going to go? So it does start in we do talk about a little bit in the grade 7-8 year. We introduce especially the local schools and what are the things that they could possibly do. We do some touring of our local schools with the grade 7, 8 groupings, again, just to pique their interest to see what's out there. But in the grade 9 and grade 10 grouping, they work pretty closely with our high school VP, Amanda Butcher, and she will do some small group career counseling with them, looking at what's out there, what's local, what you can do, what are your strengths, what do you enjoy doing, and getting a rough plan of an area at least that they might be interested in. And then the back half of grade 10 is when I take over and I sit down and I do some one-on-one counseling sessions with the students. I involve the parents. We talk as a group. We make decisions about what program would be best for them, what would they like to do. I do that career counseling. We do a lot of career testing and career examining of what this could potentially look like or lead to. And then the goal is that by their end of their grade 11 year, they know what their next step is going to be. And I phrase it that way very clearly. What's your next step? Because for some students, when you say, what are you going to be when you grow up? It's so overwhelming. As parents, we know that careers can take you on many, many pathways, and what you think you're going to do and then what you ended up doing sometimes are drastically different. And so I find that it causes a lot of anxiety and stress on a student who's in grade 11 or grade 12 who doesn't really know what they're going to do with the rest of their life. And as an adult, we shouldn't put that on them. So I focus very much on what is just your next step. So high school is over. What's your next step? Let's look at all the possibilities of something that you're very excited about and you're really interested in learning. And we'll make sure that it has other pathways. I don't want a student entering a position where I know it might be a dead end. And so we talk about what are those other pathways for those programmings. So we do a lot of that in grade 11, and then in grade 12, I'm the one as well that sets them up with creating an OUAC account, or the Ontario University Application Centre, or the OCAS account, so Ontario Colleges Application Centre. And I help walk them through how to make those applications, what to submit, when those deadlines are, what prerequisites they have to have. So they become kind of my best friend in their grade 11 and grade 12 year, and we really deep dive and figure all of those things out. It's one of the parts of my job that I absolutely love. I love doing that career counseling with the grade 11s and 12s. I love them to get excited about what their next step is. That's a goal of mine, because ending high school can be really daunting, because you've always just, okay, you go to the next year, you're in grade 9 now, you're going to grade 10, or you're going to grade 11. And when your grade 12 year ends, it is a little daunting. And so I really enjoy that career counseling time with my high school students. All right, so the wait list, how to get on and how long is it? These are questions I get asked all of the time. The simple answer is there is no simple answer. So the wait list, well, how to get on it is pretty simple. You email me. So if you're interested in getting your child's name on our wait list, you would simply email me. I will put a link to my email probably in the description below, but my email is principal@sjsh.ca. So principal@sjsh.ca. You can also email the office at office@sjsh.ca. What I need when you email me is I need your child's first and last name. I need their date of birth. I need to know your contact information. And then I also need to know if there's any potential learning need that your child has. That way it will help us to kind of plan and get ready for your child. As for how long the wait list is, there's 3 natural entry points. So the first entry point is junior kindergarten. Every year we have 16 spots in our JK class because every JK moves to SK. So every year we have an entry point of junior kindergarten. The next entry point that has available seats every single year is grade 5. So grade 5, we open up about 8 seats. And so if every grade 4 student stays with us, we always have seats in grade 5 for anyone brand new wanting to come into that point. The next entry point is grade 9. So again, we have about 8 to 9 seats that move and open up in grade 9. So if every grade 8 student stays with us, we will always have a few extra seats in grade 9. So those are the 3 more natural entry points. So if you're looking to come to me and you want to get into grade 5 next year, or your child is going into grade 3 next year, there will be a wait list. And it's because we have over a 95, 96, 97% retention rate, which means 97% of my families that are here with me right now stay with me. They don't leave. Once they're here, they're here. And they stay with me all the way through grade 12, which is great for me, but it means that it's difficult if you're on the wait list because I have no idea. If everybody stays going into the next year, I may not have a seat going into that next grade. So it's important that you and I, if you're on the wait list, continue to communicate with me your interests, continue to come in, we'll chat, we'll talk. I will make sure I note on the wait list that your family is extremely interested in. On the wait list, we do prioritize siblings first. So if you already have a child in here and you have your other child on the wait list, as soon as the seat opens up in that particular grade, the sibling gets the priority because you already are a family member here, and we will prioritize siblings. So sometimes if you come to me and you have 2 or 3 children and I'm only having a seat for one at the time, it might be to your advantage to come in, have one child join us, and then the other 2 or the other 1 goes zoop, immediately to the top. And the second I have an opening, your other child gets the priority. Sometimes it happens mid-school year. It's not very common. Usually it means we'd have to wait another school year because some people move, finances change, etc. But it's difficult to tell exactly how long you'll be waiting on the wait list. It's just really important that you keep communicating with us, keep emailing with us, keep talking with us, because it will help me to know that you're very interested in getting your child in here. I have some people that go on the wait list and then I just never hear from them again. And when it comes to having a seat go to the child, if you've been communicating with me on a regular basis versus somebody who I've never heard from ever again, more often than not, I go to the family who has been communicating with me for that seat. So then I had another question about a parent handbook, and I am currently working on a parent handbook. So for all of you brand new families that are new to us at SJSH and you're starting this year, you will be getting an email that will have a parent handbook. And it will detail things like our regular procedures, what our homework is like, pick up and drop off, what to expect throughout the school year, what kind of regular activities do we do at the school. It will just give you an overview of who we are and what we do here at the school. I guess the last is, I'm looking at my list here, the last one is tuition and what that might look like. So tuition is based around services needed that the child requires. So if a child is coming to us and they need no accommodations, they need no modifications, there's no learning diagnosis, there's no IEP, which is an individual education plan required for the child. The base tuition going into September 2024, which is right now, is $13,343. So that's the base tuition, and that's for 10 months of schooling. When a child is registered, the 15% of the tuition is due as a deposit. That 15% comes off the total, and then the remainder gets divided up between monthly payments. Now, a family could choose to pay in full, not a problem. We're happy to accommodate. You can also choose to make other arrangements for your payments, but the vast majority of my families do pay monthly. We have automatic withdrawal form that you fill out, you provide us with the void check information, and we just deposit it or withdraw it from your bank account. Now, a sibling is a 40% discount. So any siblings that you have that attend, they will attend at a 40% discount. So for families of multiple children, I know that that's a huge help. We wanted to make the discount significant enough that you didn't have to choose between which of your children had this amazing opportunity. So we wanted to make it a significant enough discount so that all of your family could attend Scholars Hall St. Jude's. So now back to the tuition, depending on your child's needs, if your child needs an accommodation, there might be a learning need, there might be a diagnosis, we will do an assessment with your child. We will do lots of meetings with you to determine, you know, what kind of programming do we have to implement, what is going to be best for your child. We have some St. Jude's classrooms, and so St. Jude's, I'm going to be explaining the difference between St. Jude's and Scholars Hall in my third and final FAQ video, and it will go over a bit of our history, who we are, what's the difference between St. Jude's and Scholars Hall, what that means. And so if you're interested in a deeper dive into that, please take a look at the FAQ video number 3. But what I'll do is just give you a brief overview. So Scholars Hall classes are designed for students that need little or no accommodations, whereas St. Jude's classes are designed for students that are bright yet learning disabled. So their intelligence is here, but their skill level might be here. So they're not achieving up to where their skill level is for any reason. Sometimes it's a diagnosed reason, and sometimes it's an undiagnosed reason. We're just not sure what is the sticking point. And so the ratio for that class is much smaller. It will range anywhere between 5 or 6 students all the way up to 10 students. and there will be 2 teaching staff there that are both special educators. So the ratios are much, much smaller. The design of that class is to teach still the Ontario curriculum, but provide a lot of accommodations or modifications that the child requires in order to get the potential out. It is designed to be a temporary alternative. It is not a permanent placement for a student. So if a student is put into St. Jude's classes, we are looking anywhere from 2 to maybe 3 years. I've had some students go to 4 and 5 years. It's just not as common. Usually around the 2nd year, we start to talk about transitions, and we look at what are the subjects that the student now has built all of those skills at. They're strong, they're competent, they feel they have a lot of confidence in themselves again, and we'll look at what are the classes that will start transitioning them. And we will transition them into our scholars classes that have that 16 cap with a teacher. And so it's all about teaching them how to learn for themselves. We can't modify forever. And all that does is it creates a crutch that the child is always using. We have to teach them how to learn for themselves so that when they're 25 years old, when they're 30 years old, when they're 40 years old, they're fully capable and independent people in whatever chosen pathway they've decided to do. So St. Jude's, again, is that temporary alternative, and Scholars is that permanent alternative. And so the tuition does change. So in my St. Jude's classes, I have 2 levels of tuition. The first level of tuition going into September 2024 is $19,343, and so that would be for 10 months. The second level is a student that requires a lot more one-on-one attention and might have a designated EA for them, and that can range up to about $28,000 for the school year. So that's our highest tuition, would be the 28, and those are for students that require a fully, almost one-on-one programming here in our St. Jude's classes. For a child that's in our Scholars Hall classes that does need a small IEP, then you're probably looking at a tuition about $15,000 going into 2024. So our complete and total range goes from $13,340 up to $28,000, and then it would depend where does your child fall on that continuum. And again, I talk with parents, we do our testing. One of the testings that I do with all of our intaking students is the Woodcock-Johnson Standardized Norm Test of Achievement, and that helps me to know what are their skills, what are their areas of need, and again, what kind of programming do I need to build for them. And all of that is included into our intake procedures of how we do things here. So I think for now, I will wrap up FAQ video number 2. If again you're looking for information that wasn't answered in here, please check out the frequently asked questions video number 1. And if you would like to have a deeper dive into our history, how we started, what St. Jude's is, what Scholars Hall is, how does the mix all work, and what we look like as a culture and a community, then check out FAQ video number 3. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a lovely day.